Hey, we're back to do another battle report. I'm Crabblesworth.
I'm letting it.
We're going to do 2,000 points. I'm playing Death Watch, which really I'm using Chaos rules this time. What are you doing, letting it?
I've got an Imperial Guard army.
Cool.
No allies.
So we don't do allies. A little bit of Forge World for me.
Yeah, the one unit.
One unit. One Force Org. Weird, I know. No fortifications, because I don't know.
No formations either.
Right, no data slates, no knights. Basically, we're keeping everything normal.
Yeah, we're playing sane 40k.
Absolutely. So, we'll be back with our armies and a discussion of the terrain.
So a basic explanation of the scenery and how we play it with the terrain. We don't allow melting through walls because if you can, why even have scenery? It's a lot more tactical when you actually have to move around. So the only place we really abstract things would be low walls or doors, such as this here or the doors in the ruins. There models can move through, but all the solid walls are solid and impassable. We play vehicle wrecks as destroyable, so if it's got the same armor value as when it was alive, and the glancing hit just removes it, penetrating hit makes it explode as if it was a result on the table. And when it leaves a crater, we leave green Chinese marbles on the corners, just to mark where the crater is, because then it's area terrain and difficult and all that. And so the scenery that we have on the table, all of the big solid things are impassable. Statues, none of the statues are actually Imperial statuary or whatever it is, because that's kind of stupid. Buildings that are solid are impassable. And then ruins are ruins, but as I said, there's no melting through the walls. And then we treat the open ground on the base as open ground, because there's no reason this should be area terrain. So after we discussed terrain and agreed on how we should be playing this game, we concluded that all the open buildings, one there, as well as the tower, all count as ruins. Solid structures are not ruins, they are just impassable. And we do fudge some things, like this is more than 3 inches, but we'll allow units to move up on top of it, because otherwise it becomes kind of useless in dead space. So because of how fortifications were added to the game, so it's kind of contrived when you have the objective placement, because you already know where you're deploying when you put objectives down, so it's hard to say it's not biased. We agreed to put objectives down before we knew anything about where we're deploying or the game type other than objectives. So we put one fairly central. It's not exactly in the center of the table, because where the very center, it could have been contested from the other side of the wall. And then the other ones are just essentially in roughly the centers of the 4 quarters. And then we try to put them somewhere where it kind of makes sense. Like this is obviously to hold the Prometheum. This is obviously the Imperial Church. And then elsewhere. So this is a 2,000 point Imperial Guard Army, single force organization charts. No allies, no formations as mentioned earlier. For heavy supports, there is a pair of Medusas that are in a squadron, as there's only 3 heavy support slots. A Colossus Siege Mortar and a Manticore. For fast attack, there is squadron of 3 Sentinels with multi-lasers, a Vendetta that's bone stock, and a Bane Wolf with Hull Heavy Flamer. For elites, the only option is Marble. And for troops, there are 5 veteran squads. 4 of them are in Chimeras. 3 of those have triple plasma guns. The 4th has triple melta-guns and shotguns. The 5th veteran squad is just on foot with a las cannon, just to give a little bit of more fire support. And for HQs, there is the Primaris Psyker that is attached to the Melta-Gun veteran squad, and a company command squad with a las cannon and a astropath. And we choose warlord traits instead of making them random, because we find that it just adds a lot more to the game. So I've chosen Conqueror of Cities.
Okay, so here's my 2,000 point Chaos count as army. With 1 Force Org, as we mentioned. So to start with, I got my only Forge World unit, which is a count as Plague Drone. I've got 11 cultists here with, they count as having pistols. I just assume the shotgun's a short range gun. Got a Mutilator here. Forge Fiend with the upgrade thing gun. 3 squads of Plague Marines, all identical with 2 melta guns in Rhinos. Raptors with 2 melta guns, and the champion's got a power axe and melta bombs. 2 units of Obliterators. Got a unit of Chaos Bikes with Mark of Nurgle on it, make them tougher, and they've got 2 plasma guns. Champion has a power axe. My HQ is Chaos Lord Nurgle, obviously. He has what I'm counting as a Power Fist, because I just like the look of it better than a Power Fist. And of course, the Burning Brand of Scalathrax, as well as the 4+ invul save thing, and so on. Then I've got a Sorcerer, who's level 3. I believe he also has the 4+ invul save. He's got a Force Axe, I believe, and Melta Bombs. And that's essentially it, so not a lot of model count on my end. It'll be fun. Oh, and I chose Score Lord here for my leader so he can score objectives. Okay, so I won the role to go first, and as you can see, I've deployed. So starting in the center, we've got a Forge Fiend here, some Plague Marines and a Rhino there. Moving down this way, behind here we've got another squad of Plague Marines and a Rhino. And hidden very carefully from barrage in this ruin is some cultists. Moving down this way, got a Mutilator there. 5 Raptors here. Another 5-man Nurgle squad and a Rhino here. Bikes with a Sorcerer on bike. And then we'll talk about reserves. For my reserves, I've got my Warlord in this unit of Obliterators Deep Striking. Down here, I've got another unit of 2 Obliterators Deep Striking. And of course, I've got my Countess Plague Drone, which will just be coming in like a normal fire.
So I finished deploying the Imperial Guard, and I've gone for kind of a denied flank in one corner here, because I'm worried about being outmaneuvered, so I figured might as well hunker down. So I've got my artillery, the indirect artillery hidden behind the building, and then I've got my Medusas up front to move up to get some lanes down the streets here. I've got the veteran squad with the last cannon on top of the building just to hopefully get a good field of view and get some cover from that, and another veteran squad on the side to move up. Company command squad's right here with the las cannon, hoping to move these guys up, clear the line of sight so you can just start taking pot shots. And then 2 more of the plasma veteran squads here, ready to move up wherever they're needed. More of a reactionary force than actually going into my enemy's teeth. And next we'll talk about reserves. So in reserve for the Imperial Guard, the 3 Sentinels here are going to be outflanking at some point. So I've got the Astropath in the units, so in the command squad, so that I can re-roll that if I want to. We have Marbo, who's doing his thing that he always does. Up here we've got the Vendetta, which is just coming in as normal, of course, and it's empty. There's nothing in it because I'm just using it as a gun ship. The Banewolf will be coming in on my line from regular reserves just as a counterattack unit, as well as the veteran squad with the Primaris Psyker and the Melta Guns to fill in a gap if anything else gets wiped out, or just to try to snag an objective if they can.
So it's the end of Chaos Deathwatch turn 1. Forgot to mention it was night fight, but it was night fight. So starting over here, I moved up 12 with this Rhino full of Plague Marines and popped smoke. Moving down, moved up 12 with this, popped smoke. Moved up 6 and then ended up running 6, which was nice with the Forge Fiend, so hopefully be in range. Moved up with these guys and ran I think 4 inches. Moved up 6 with him because he's slow and purposeful, couldn't run. This Rhino, I believe I moved it 12 or so to where it is now. The bikes ended up turbo boosting all the way up there, being led by the Sorcerer on a bike. So yeah, no shooting turn 1 because it's not really what I do. So we'll see you at the end of Guard turn 1.
It's now the end of Imperial Guard turn 1, and it was not a very eventful turn because of night fighting. So starting from the right here, the artillery in the back did nothing. They missed their targets completely. The vet squad up top didn't move. They fired the last cannon and managed to pop the Rhino. A bunch of other guys, one plasma overheated trying to shoot some of the Space Marines, but no one actually died. The Medusas moved up and they fired down the roadway. There was a cover save made due to the night fight on the Rhino, and there was 1 hull point taken off of the Forge Fiend. It was a penetrating hit, but it ignores it because it's possessed. This guy shimmied over to take a shot, but he missed. This Chimera here took some pot shots down at the Space Marine bikers down the road, but 2+ covers, 2+ covers, so nothing happened there. And this guy also fired down that way, but again, did nothing. Imperial Guard accuracy. So that is all that happened this turn, so we'll see you at the end of Space Marine turn 2.
So it's the second turn for the Chaos / Death Watch. I've got 2 of my 3 reserves that came in. The first one is here because it was misplaced or whatever on mishap. So Lieutenant placed it there. And then the second landed directly where there. That's my Warlord. So for the turn, just starting over here, the Plague Marines who lost their Rhino moved up, fired here, and immobilized one of Lieutenant's tanks. Moving down this way, the Forge Fiend managed to regain its lost hull point at the end of this turn. Getting ahead of myself. Raptors moved 12 and then ran 4 or 5 inches here. These guys got out after the Rhino moved 6, fired. Forge Fiend at that, and Lieutenant made his cover saves. Moving down again, we've got my Mutilator who's just kind of chilling. These guys are just chilling over here near my Lord. Once the Blitz dropped, they fired on Lieutenant's Chimera with Twin Link Plasma, taking it out, but they didn't win and they didn't fail their leadership. And the bikes turbo boosted just to try to block a bit of the board edge off, unsuccessfully of course. So that's pretty much it for the Chaos turn 2. We'll see you at the end of Imperial Guard turn 2.
It's the end of Imperial Guard turn 2, and thankfully all my reserves came in this turn. So starting on my right here, way back in that corner, the Sentinels came in, they outflanked. I got choice of side, so I brought them in behind the Cultists because, well, they've got a good chance of really messing them up. And the Cultists have no grenades, so they can't really hurt them. Over here, the Vendetta came in. Flew in and shot and destroyed the Forge Fiend. Marbo dropped in right there, threw his demo charge, killed 3 of the Raptors. They went to ground, but didn't make any of the saves anyway. I only killed 3 of the 5. Back over here, this squad moved up, and oh, they're dead. They both overheated and died, and managed to kill 1 of the Plague Marines. This squad fired the last cannon, killed a single Plague Marine further down the road. This Medusa destroyed the Rhino, which allowed that guy to die because he was originally hiding behind it. My artillery whiffed again. This, because the one Medusa is immobilized, the second one moved away so that it's no longer in a squadron, so you can't add the hits on. And it didn't have any line of sight to any target, so it just moved an extra 6. These 2 squads actually had no line of sight, so they're just holding still for the moment. The Primaris and the Veterans came on, tried to fire the Primaris' shooting power at the Obliterators and the Lord, but he passed the Deny the Witch. The Vets from the destroyed Chimera moved up, shot at them, and managed to inflict 1 wound. And the Banewolf popped on, fired everything into the bikes, and killed the Sorcerer who was out front, but didn't kill any of the other bikes. So, a fairly good deal of killing for this turn, and we'll see you at the end of Space Marine turn 3.
It's the end of Death Watch, aka Chaos. Turn 3. My awesome, cool Plague Drone is still not in, so no luck there. So with that, let's begin. Over here, I was a little bit scared of these Sentinels because they really hurt. So I ran away with my Cultists to try and make some distance between us and get some cover saves. Pierre moved up with my Plague Marines, count as, fired at the Chimera, causing a hull point and stunning it or whatever. Interesting to note, you can't shoot in your next shooting phase, but that doesn't prevent you from overwatching. I tried to charge and it didn't work out. Kind of retardé. Moving along, these guys were pinned. I'll remove that now because it doesn't matter. The Plague Marines are still chilling under there. The whatever that guy's called there, the Mongoloid there.
Mutilator.
Mutilator, that was it. Is there. Over here, the Oblitz incinerated what was left of that guard squad. The Lord fired his Burning Brand of Scalithrax, incinerating the Primaris' squad. The bikes charged the Bane Wolf and showed just how awfully effective crack grenades can be by causing like a hull point or something. And last, and certainly not least, these fine Oblitz over here, which Ludwig was so nice to put in the corner, were what caused the explosion in the Primaris' Chimera. So, things are okay, but he's got a lot more shooting and a lot more models than me. So, we'll see what happens at the end of Guard turn 3.
It's the end of Imperial Guard turn 3, and I killed a bunch of stuff, and some good stuff happened. So starting on my left here, the Bane Wolf backed up and fried the bikers, killed 4 of them. There's one left, the sergeant's left anyway. Dropped some ordnance on the Rhino back there, managed to blow its combi bolter off, so it's really crippled now. It's out of the game essentially. Over here, I shuffled some of my tanks around just to try to open up some fire lanes. Again, this one had nothing, but I'm hoping to maybe shoot something with them next turn. These guys moved up, and then they shot some of the cultists that were over there, which were also shot at by the Sentinels, so there's only 2 cultists left. We'll see what happens there. They passed their leadership, though. Fired the Medusa at them as well, but missed as usual. The Manticore is what blew his combi bolter off the other tank, and the Colossus, again, missed and did nothing. The guys up top fired and killed 2 of the Plague Marines down there, but there's still some left. And the immobilized Medusa had nothing to shoot at because it's immobilized. The Vendetta went into skimmer mode, shot at the Rhino down the road, but it passed all of its leadership tests. Cover save, sorry. Marbo shot one of the Raptors with his stupid AP2 pistol, charged the other one, and got killed because he's Marbo, so he always has to die. So that is what happened in Imperial Guard turn 3, so we will see you at the end of Space Marine turn 4.
So it's the end of Chaos, aka Deathwatch, turn 4. My plane obviously came in, the Countess Plague Drone, and it fired its cannon and hit all 3 Sentinels, destroying one outright, wrecking the other, and I guess it didn't carry over to the third one because apparently it works like units, which is always awesome. Over here, I shot at the Chimera, didn't do anything, then eventually charged it, blew it up, killed I think 3 guys or so, something like that. Moving down, my guy who survived his duel with Marbo and got 46 on its chart, which is pointless. So he charged the Vendetta after throwing a crack grenade and did nothing. Damn melter bombs. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. The Mongoloid or Mutilator or whatever moved over there. The Oblitz came through the door, which is the only place we play with melting through walls. And the bike did so as well. And the Oblitz, I believe, fired 2 last cannons at a Chimera doing nothing.
Double ones to hit.
Over here, my Warlord leader guy destroyed the tank, putting the final hull point on it and wrecking it. Down here, one of the 2 is in range, 36 for a plasma cannon shot, fired it, scattered, and actually hit my leader, but he made his invul save. And these cats in the Rhino are still just chilling in the Rhino, which, yeah, so overall, not a terrific turn, but we're building a mystery, so see you at the end of Guard turn 4.
It's now the end of a very ineffectual Imperial Guard turn 4. So starting off over here with the Sentinel, he moved over to try to shoot the cultists that were hiding around the corner there, but he didn't kill any of them, nothing happened. Over here, these guardsmen shot at the Plague Marines and did nothing. The veterans up here shot at the last remaining Raptor over there and did nothing. The Medusa had no targets, so it did nothing. This Chimera had no targets, so it did nothing. The squad inside fired their las cannon and las guns. One of the las guns managed to take the last wound off of an obliterator, but the las cannon didn't do anything. The Colossus fired at something and missed, I forget. The Manticore fired its last rocket at the Rhino way over there and scattered 11 inches, so it also did nothing. This Medusa fired at the Chaos Lord hiding behind the building here and missed and did nothing. This Chimera fired all of its weapons at the Lord and did nothing, and the guys inside fired all their plasma at the Lord and did nothing. So in total, I took 1 wound off an Obliterator with my entire army. And that's the end of Imperial Guard turn 4, so we'll see you at the end of Space Marine turn 5.
So it's the end of Death Watch, aka Chaos Marines turn 5. Let's start over here. So, because of my turn 5, could be my last turn, I ran out these guys towards the objective. There is still a Sentinel there, and Lutton may still kill me, but fortune favors the stupid. I turned like some odd degrees, went another 18 with this guy here, and I shot the Manticore, scattered, hit both these cats, but he passed his cover save on the Colossus, but the Manticore, I destroyed its heavy bolter. Over here, the 2 unit shot the vehicle, didn't do anything, and then ended up assaulting it and wrecking it. My lone surviving Raptor continues his streak of glory and immobilized that Chimera with the command squad in it. Over here, my Mongoloid, or whatever his name is, moved rolling a 6 through difficult terrain, so he's there right now. So, yay. My lone surviving Obliterator over here fired at the Chimera. I believe I may have mobilized it. And then the bike charged the wreck because we play with destructible wrecks, but didn't manage to do anything to it. My Rhino, the guys got out and then he moved up here. These Oblits attempted to take out the wreck prior to the bike assaulting it, but again, they kind of whiffed 2 1s. And over here, my Warlord ran 6 inches back towards the objectives because he has Scorelord, aka movable object. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, but if this goes to turn 7, it can get a lot dicier, so we'll see you at the end of Guard turn 5.
And it's the end of yet another demoralizing Imperial Guard turn, end of turn 5. So starting ongoing reserves, the Vendetta came back in, fired all of its last cannons, managed to get locked velocity on the Plague Drone. 6 plasma shots to the face out of the back of this, managed to take 1 wound off of the Obliterator, because 5+ saves are apparently better than 2+ now. This last cannon missed, it shot through this crack at the biker. This moved up because it had no shots, but it didn't want to. I didn't want to block the objective with it, so I didn't move it all the way. The squad up top, they got down, jumped through the door, so now they're sitting on the objective, but the game's going on, so they're probably just going to die. The Manticore backed up. It's got no weapons or anything left, so it doesn't matter. The Colossus fired at the Chaos Marines back there. I managed to kill 2 of them, somehow miraculously, even though I'm rolling more 1s than binary. The squad here charged the 2 surviving Plague Marines. The sergeant went to a challenge with the other sergeants. He killed my sergeant, and then his sergeant turned into a spawn. So that's what that Terminator there is. And my 3 guys managed to kill the 1 other guy, so the squad's gone, and now it's a non-scoring spawn standing there. Over here, the Sentinel shots, they went to ground, made one of the 6+ saves, so 1 of them survived. He charged and rolled a 1 to wound, so that's nothing there. So in total, I've killed 3 Marines this turn, I think, with all of my entire army, so... Oh well, we'll see you at the end of Space Marine turn 6, because we're going on to turn 6.
So it's the end of Chaos / Death Watch turn 6. These guys kind of just chilled on the objective. These guys moved up 6. He moved a little bit, trying to get a better shot, but couldn't see anything. He tried to charge, but failed. The Rhino moved up. Over here I blew up Medusa and charged one of Lutnit's units and killed it with the Raptor. He rolled again after killing a character and got 45, which is interesting because the last thing was 46, kind of eerie, which gives him Meteoric Strike. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Death Watch turn 6. We'll see you at the end of Imperial Guard turn 6.
So it's the end of Imperial Guard turn 6 and also the end of the game. It ended here. So again, a lot of whiffing happened. The Vendetta spun around, shot at the Warlord, but made all of his invul saves with the last cannon, so nothing happened there. The veteran plasma squad here did manage to kill the last obliterator. We'll take the wound off of the second obliterator from that squad. This fired at the spawn and all that and missed completely. There were 2 guardsmen here that charged the spawn and died. Back there, the sentinel killed the last cultist, taking him off the objective. And the Colossus fired and landed a shot, killing 1 more guy on that objective, but not enough to move them because they're fearless. So that's the end of the game, and the score is 3 objectives for Chaos plus line breakers, so they get 10, and we get 1 for first blood. For the Imperial Guard Army, the epic failure of the entire army would have to be the Manticore. It made no significant contributions. I think it took 2 hull points off 2 different vehicles, and that's about it. And it fired. I got 3 missiles twice, so it could have done a lot of damage, but it did nothing. It kept scattering 10, 11, 12 inches. So it's definitely a big failure. The MVP for the Imperial Guard would have to be the Bane Wolf. I mean, nothing did really well, I guess, but I don't know. It killed the Chaos Sorcerer, which was 180 points for some stupid reason, and then managed to kill 4 of the 5 bikers, since it always moves on 2+ and ignores all of the possible cover saves. So it did the most, I guess, for its point cost in the army.
So my epic fail of the game would be the Mutilator. Now, it's not the poor lad's fault. I forgot they were slow and purposeful and couldn't run, so I very stupidly decided not to deep strike him, and I mean, he ran every turn, made very good rolls for difficult, but just couldn't get to combat, so Mutilator is my epic fail. So my MVP of the game would have to be my Raptor champion. It's not really like he killed that much, but he survived a fight with Marbo and killed him, and then he also managed to assault a Vendetta ineffectually, but it was still kind of badass. And then managed to take out a whole, I think, veteran squad single-handedly and kill yet another character. So he ended up with Icy something or other and Meteoric Charge. Not that useful, but he's a badass. So, MVP. So, post-game show. Lutnit. What could you have done better?
The 2 Medusas in a squadron was a mistake. I don't know why, but I had stuck in my head, like, oh, I'm just going to table them, and, you know, I don't have to go for objectives. And then, oh, yeah, I forgot to go for objectives, so I lost.
Yep.
I don't know, I should have came around turn 5, and I'm like, well, I can't table them at this point, so, yeah.
I think the parking lot effect kind of hindered you, because you got...
Yeah, I was blocking myself with way too many tanks.
Yeah, I think if you had pushed out, even with just some of the Chimeras to midfield, it gives you more plasma on point, and you could have slowed me down, potentially, or whatever. Because I took staggering casualties. I had very few models left on the board, but I had more counts.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know. We all know that, like, Marines will never be fluffy in terms of their actual efficacy, so I don't mind taking crazy casualties if I actually end up winning the game. That's probably why I don't like stuff like kill points and the relic and all that nonsense. But one thing to really highlight, in 6th edition, because of the stupid fucking fortification rules, which were just like shoehorned in with, I don't know, whatever retard stick Jarvis could shove it in there with, you know what table side is yours, thus the objective placement is incredibly cynical quite often. I mean, even with 5 objectives, it's like, well, here's my 2, and you're 6 inches.
One player gets 3.
And here's my 3, yeah.
Their deployment zone.
Yeah, and if you're like doing hammer and anvil, it's sort of like, well, good luck. No, and I find if you do place objectives before anyone really knows where anyone's deploying,
it's far more honest, fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, instead of the 3rd floor of a ruin or 2nd floor of a ruin or something, it's more like 4 or 5 inches from a ruin, so you can run to it at some point.
Yeah. Which
makes it a little more interesting, lets vehicles do a bit more of their drive-over shenanigans or tank shocking or whatnot.
Yeah, plus it almost sets the tempo of the game where it's like, oh, I got the 3 objectives, you got 2, so now I'm on the defense, you're on the offense.
Right. I mean, that wouldn't be terrible if it was like 12 inches from an edge or like they had to be placed in certain quadrants or something, but it's just the fact that, like, there's a sort of issue with not much terrain being used in a lot of games anyway, and then you wonder why it's always gun line. Well, the scenarios, other than I guess like the Relic, are pretty much telling you to do gun line. I mean, there's kill points, but again, with kill points, you likely just play super defensive and don't take a lot of risks depending on your temperament. So, what would you change in your list? You could change a couple things or everything.
Definitely drop the 2 Medusas. Probably take less Chimeras, more vet squads on foot. I just don't have enough bodies painted. I've got more special weapons that I can use, but I don't have enough regular lasguns painted. So that's why I have to take them instead of taking more platoons and stuff.
Yeah.
Drop either both Medusas or just one. And maybe not more disruption. The list I originally wrote did have 2 units of outflanking sentinels in it, but I dropped one when I reorganized some stuff. So
those sentinels did really well. I mean, for 105 points.
Yeah, they didn't get their points back, but they took a guy off. They took an objective away from you.
That was sick.
They
outflank. Doesn't matter if they can assault or not because they got like 9 shots, and they had me running my ass as far away from them as I could because I didn't want to be assaulted by them.
Yeah, and the Astropath is now pretty broken in 6th because it means my reserves come in on 2+.
Exactly, and you still get the reroll for sides, right?
Yeah, for outflank.
That could be really nasty in the right list with a lot of outflank.
Yeah, like I can bank on my reserves coming in 2nd turn.
Yeah. I don't like stormtroopers, but as we can all see, it seems like they're not getting any better. And I don't know.
They're scions now.
Well, I mean, we'll let the lawyers deal with that. But I've never hated the 2 Meltagun Suicide Stormtrooper unit. It's the same price exactly as 3 of the stock Sentinels, and it's sort of like you get the reroll of the scatter, so it's not terrible. You could have easily come down and maybe got me out of a Rhino earlier, and then like hit me with the
and
AP3.
the Colossus can, because the Strength 6 doesn't do much against Rhinos, but it can really kill Marines with the AP3.
No, I mean I was conscious of your Sentinels, but it wasn't a huge factor when I did, and then they worked out. You took. I mean, it would have been 13-1, so something.
Yeah.
As far as what I would change in my list, well, I mean, let's be honest, my list wasn't hyper optimized or anything really. I mean, Plague Marines are cool. I like them.
You were 3 Heldrakes short of an effective list.
I don't do Heldrakes. No, I mean my whole thought with the Countess with the Death Watch is WYSIWYG. A Rhino's a Rhino.
A Bolter's a Bolter.
Exactly. Like it's really not that big of a deal. At one point, a guy turned into a spawn. I put a 40 mil down. It wasn't. That's my spawn. You know, it didn't really matter. But no, in terms of changing my list, I liked the Forge Rolled Plague Drone. It did pretty good, all things considered. It's interesting that like you just don't really ever have to jink or evade because you just have an invul save. So that's
when you evade, it's 3+.
So. No, it doesn't have that.
Oh, because it's not shrouded, you're right.
And it's weird, it went up 25 points. It used to be 125, now it's 150.
But there's no rules changes.
I don't think so. Maybe it lost Shroud or something. I don't know.
I just keep thinking, because they give Shrouded to almost everything Nurgle, so I keep thinking that it got Shrouded as well.
Well, it's the whole problem, man, with Forge World. Who fucking knows? I mean, it's probably got 7 different books with that thing in it, so... But I like that. The Forge Fiend is a huge disappointment, and I mean, everyone knows why that is. It should not be fucking 12 armor. Like... It's only BS3, so I got to shoot once with the crazy autocannon.
Yeah, and then
got
I slammed it with artillery.
3 hits out of 8, and then I mean
I passed all my cover saves.
Well, yeah, full plus cover. So it's sort of like it's nice to have the extra AP2 or Strength 8 AP2 template, but it hit you again. You got cover. I don't know. It's just too weak. Even with an invul save, and even with it will not die. It's just for 175 to 200 points.
Yeah,
and that's a damn shame, man. I love my conversion. I really do. I thought 2,000 points, okay, you know, it will be like one of the weaker choices.
Take
whatever.
some fun units.
Yeah, I mean, I figured armor anyway. So. But no, it was disappointing. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but
it's got less armor than an Ironclad Dreadnought, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, for fuck's sake.
Doesn't have to be 14, but just make it 13.
The same armor as, like, 80-point transports. Like, give it something that matters. Same with the Defiler, in all honesty, having 4 hull points.
4 hull points, but armor 12, so you can still just knock it out.
And I don't want to be one of those guys who's always complaining about the Chaos decks, but there's some stuff, like... I thought, oh, cool, you know, why not run a sorcerer? I'll give that a try. How is that going to be? I always forgot, oh, yeah, I'm stuck with 1 from Nurgle, so...
And he was 180 points on a bike. How much is Sidurius?
165.
So he's significantly worse for...
But he's toughness 6 with a 3+ save and a 4+ invul. Yay. No, that was just a bad choice on my part. I probably would have been better just doing another Lord or something at least. Maybe the points would have been...
Yeah, like 180 points just takes something, anything else.
At the end of the day, like, I'm thinking like, oh, he'll tank, but I'm really not thinking about the 3+ instead of the 2, so...
Yeah, because having a 2+ means that you cut your number of wounds that you take in half. Because you're going to pass twice as many.
I don't know, if I could change my list, I think I would have dropped the Forge Fiend, taken some Havocs with Blast Cannons.
Yeah, something longer range. You were missing that.
I don't know, we're kind of... It's hard to get a lot of long range with Chaos, because you have to take full 10 mans to get a heavy weapon. There's a lot you got to do to get long range.
One heavy weapon.
As you see, we play with a lot of terrain, so it's not really an issue. What could we talk about? What else? Carl, I'll go to you for final thoughts, and then I'll do mine.
Final thoughts for this game. Rusty on guard. I've been playing Tau too much lately.
Yep.
And I need to get painted more what I need to build the armies I want, but with the rumors of the new Imperial Guard or Astra Militarium Codex coming out soon, I don't want to paint anything because I don't know what's going to be nerfed and what's going to be the new win button. I don't know, maybe Baneblaze will be in the new Codex.
I think after NIDS, everyone's kind of quietly terrified, so...
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait.
But it's okay. They can just sell us a bunch of other $60 codexes with like 2 units or 1 unit in them because that's like in no way going to get old fast.
Yeah, and then I could pick up some Scions, except, oh wait, it's $84 Canadian for 10 of them.
God. That's upsetting.
I remember when pewter models were expensive at $5 each.
I remember when I didn't hate this fucking game. I don't know.
Unfortunately, we both have too much money into it.
We have all this stuff. May as well play it. But it's...
Or just sell the armies and play Drops on Commander.
Yeah, that too. My final thoughts. This game is a representation of the kind of game I like, which is, of course, when I win. No, but really, I like when the mission is kind of all that matters. There's a lot of talk of making new missions and all that, which is fine, but... A lot of them just kind of turn into how many points can you collect, gotta catch them all Pokemon, and it's just like a lot of fights in all of history have been stalling tactics. The whole point is like you're maybe sacrificing yourself, but you're buying time for your boys to either retreat or flank or pincer or whatever.
Destroy a factory. I mean, the only time killing was the main objective, I believe, was in Vietnam, and well, we all know how that went.
Or accidentally in World War One.
Oh yeah.
No,
well, they were trying to seize ground. They just weren't very good at it.
You want to kill your enemy. You want to demoralize them. And I know the objectives are very abstract. But even if you just assume it's ground you want to take for mass barges to land or whatever fluff you want to come up with. Yeah. The point is, like, I held more ground in the end. So I like that. I don't know.
The ground I held really well. But it just was a very small portion of the table.
I mean, at the end of the day... I won. You know, the game is very win-lose draws. We know it's not battle points unless you make it battle points. But if you were to ask the context, it was a fairly major victory.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm fine with someone having to ask more questions about a game. Like, how many battle points did you get in that game against Billy on Friday? Well, you just asked me the game one, I'll tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, one. It was 4-3. Really
I understand people want ingredients to their victories and losses, but... it's not really in the core game of 40k. There's nothing wrong with making it that way. But anyway, so thank you for watching. We've kind of drawn on too long. I know we both come off as huge misanthropic douchebags, so we're very cynical. But we did enjoy ourselves. The game was a bit long. But I had fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's what matters. So thanks for watching, guys. And fuck Jervis Johnson. And we'll see you in an unspecified...
period of chronological timekeeping.
Vis-a-vis concordantly.
We forgot to talk about forging the narrative.
God damn it, we forgot forging the narrative.